think you can hunt us? How cute. Cold steel under moonlight, fangs cut the snow. We run as the pack, where the brave never go. You come with your ego, your guns and your lies, but the wild sees through you. Tonight someone dies. Eyes glowing brighter, we circle your fate. One stupid move and it's already too late. Don't mess with the walls. Havoc is coming, ripping through your soul. Claws of the savage, jaws breaking control. Hell through the static.
No.
The wild takes it all. Havoc is coming. Don't mess with the wolves. You play at the predator, king of the hunt, but we are the nightmare your nightmares confront. Alpha blood rising, the engine ignites. Your fragile humanity ends here tonight. No mercy for hunters who challenge the pack. We feast on the arrogant, we never look back. Don't mess with the wolves. Havoc is coming, ripping through your soul. Claws of the savage, jaws breaking control. Hell through the static, the wild takes it all. Havoc is coming. Don't mess with the wolves. Run, little hunter. The machine of the pack has you locked in its teeth. Bones crush like metal, untied, digital house. Don't mess with the wolves. Havoc is coming, devouring your soul. We are the storming mechanical foe. Scream all you want. The wild conquers all. Havoc is coming. Don't you fucking mess with the wolves. We warned you.
Good morning, everybody. How's it going? How are all of you today? Hope you had a good night's sleep last night when you got to sleep. They're talking about Hurricane Dolphin. Going to talk about some news. Not really tired, so it's a good time to come chat. And I think some of you really like the morning show. Is your weirdos. Weirdos who aren't sleeping. Or maybe you're going to work. One of the two. Man, I love my sleep. It's the only time when I'm not in tremendous amounts of pain. I guess I probably still am. I just don't care because I'm asleep. You know what I mean? Hello, banana. Banana, 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 banana. Banana. Super Typhoon is what they're calling this thing. A Super Typhoon. What makes it a Super Typhoon? I probably should put Typhoon, not Hurricane. So I used to put in Hurricane. I was like, that doesn't seem right. Oh, I'll put it anyways. And I was right. That was not correct. Oh, Super Godzilla. I'm trying to find stuff also in English. No. UK splootion? I don't know if I want to watch a guy sploosh on people, but I mean, I guess it's something. What are they doing in the UK right now? What's going on? I see them protesting. I'll put it on. Better than stuff with Iran. We don't really get to see much these days. All right, there's that one and One Generation Media. So Japan's not having any earthquakes. What they are having is a super typhoon that's making landfall. They've had a lot of small earthquakes, but nothing like the other mass one that was from the other day. At least, dear God, I hope they're not going to. That is not Iran, if you could not tell by where it says UK sploosh on it. London, England. What? What are they doing to that poor woman? They're taking her away? They arresting her?
Do we need another picture?
Are you too much control?
Oh, you have a license for your Facebook, mate?
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm going to tell you what Typhoon Dolphin is. Oh, it's not going that fast, Darth Kitty. It's only going 160 miles per hour to 200 miles per hour.
Are you going to give me your name?
Dan, do you want to walk?
You want to set up, just let me know. I'll help you set up.
London.
Oh, is it? Recently or?
March 2023. I'm permanent and the 3rd of March last year, a right-wing politician came to me with his car. Your details to the operator this time. He's into space.
I'll be 1 minute.
Well, the bottom's London, the top is Japan.
And that's going on now.
Is it because like early days when you were walking
That's where you see pieces of straw impaling people through their head.
The level of lies, deceit and cowardice is fucking appalling. And these politicians.
Because you've been arrested, I've got to search you under section 32 case to make sure you've got nothing on you.
I've got no intention to harm anybody.
Have you got anything on you that's going to hurt me or anyone else?
No. I've got nothing in any of my pockets. There's some keys in there. That's about the
That's fine. That's check your waistband.
My name's Free Palestine.
What's your name?
Yeah.
What's your date of birth?
My date of birth is the day when Palestinian people are free from oppression.
What's up, Wasteland? I am back for right now.
To live peacefully in their own lands, which they love so much.
Sir, can I touch you for over to your side so I can check your side pockets? It's just so I can check the side pockets.
You know, if I had to pick between a SIG MPX or a Chris Vector, I think I would get the MPX.
Free Palestine.
Hopefully you can lay back, sir.
I told you my date of birth is the day when Palestinian people are allowed back on their precious land that they love so dearly, and allowed to live in peace and rebuild their lives. Can you imagine all those orphan children? Thousands with missing limbs, their entire families being annihilated. Try getting your head around that. The Epstein elites are so utterly disgusting and corrupt.
So you heard Russia struck Poland by
Every
accident?
single human being that isn't in their clique. It's the most vile thing I've known in my life.
I'm down with epoxying them there. Well, I don't like Glocks, and I don't own any Glocks.
I appreciate that you'll be travelling the island.
The Epstein elites.
I know someone said his name like that and it stuck in my head. I'll have to say it.
And I say people, an ordinary people who are interested in peaceful lives.
Yeah. Oops.
They've got nothing but contempt. And they somehow, as a matter of instability, are quite happy to cause utter devastation.
How did you do that?
Profoundly disgusting.
I have mine.
You have your ways.
I have mine. I'm a machine. They didn't find my phone. So I got Google back up. And I said, oh, I need to shut down. They didn't find my phone. I go, and I waited.
So would you like it with water? You want to say something? Next week, you say something?
I can hear from here. It's almost no words.
This is rather peaceful. I was expecting more yelling and screaming. I didn't say Glocks were bad. I said I didn't like Glocks. For pistols are like women. We all have our own preference. And I figure the people who like really obese women are the ones with the revolvers.
Particularly, particularly, I extend the deepest love to all the children in Gaza. I just feel their suffering in my heart. I would personally love to just gather them all up and just help them try to rebuild their lives in peace and make some sort of amends for the fallen devastation that's been meted on them. But once again, I want to say to the people of Gaza, the people of the rest of the world, we love you so deeply, we care so deeply about you.
Well, I don't need, well, yeah, I don't own any SIGs. I own an XD, I own a Walther, I own a Canic, I own an H&K, I own a Taurus revolver. What else do I have? And a Steyr. Those are the pistols I own. Now that I think about it, I sound like a gun snob. Good morning, Starfire. How's it going, buddy? Or madam, I can't see your picture. Thou in white hat. Mike, Taurus is a revolver. It never jams. It's a revolver. I mean, revolvers can jam and misfire. And sometimes there's problems with the hammer and the firing pin, but it works fine. I've put at least 200 rounds through it. Hey, thank you very much for $2, dudes. Appreciate you.
Excuse me. On your back.
Right your back. So are you happy to stand now?
I think next time I see it,
No, that's no problem. Mine works really well. You just You could either take it and flip it upside down and they drop right out, or there is the plunger to push them out too.
You got freedom of right, freedom of movement.
Paranormal is for shooting ghosts. So there is probably at this point like 20 earthquakes. But there was one big one and then a lot of small ones. And it looks like from there might have been another good size. Oh, that's from 2016. Never mind. Like 25 minutes ago, they had another 4 point something. Hey, thank you for the fiver. I got bills coming up, so if you guys want to send whatever, that'd be great. It's almost the first. I gotta come up with like another 200 to cover all my bills. So, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, or buy me a coffee, but I will take super chats. Thank you.
I take it we don't switch.
Hey, I'll take a fiver. I appreciate that. I appreciate everything. I appreciate $2. Thank you very much. I'm not picky. I'll take any of it. To me, it's all generous and nice.
From the sea to the river, Palestine will live forever. Since 1948, Israel is a terrorist state.
Excuse me, sir.
You know, it's not a very far trip for them to go to Gaza.
Yeah, I've done it a lot of
It's rushing for the tea, biscuits and sandwiches.
That is true, Starfire. That is very true.
I know, bro. But it's on camera right now. Yeah.
Right, you only cleaning up the
So
shit.
funny, the rest of the couple, one of the lefties come in there, sat next to us on the table, saying, "You could be a terrorist." And I was like, oh, where's she anyway? She's not been back, has she? That one from the pub.
Stand by.
Bye.
Whoop, slow down, slow down, slow down.
Good morning. At least they're all being put into the paddy wagon, I
Can you just
guess.
help
I don't know.
Christina, can you just help Perry?
Oi, Christina, Perry. Perry's getting his jingle jangle slapped around. Pro-Palestinian folk.
My side, yeah.
Your carries the last thing right.
Will you stand up so we can get you on the van? Yes?
Have you got any injuries?
Take your weight. Take your weight.
Oh, you dropped the deuce on me.
Lift her up.
Again, it's a bunch of pro-Palestinian people out there. I'm keeping an eye on the Typhoon on the top too, though.
Free Palestine, guys. Free Palestine. Free Palestine, guys.
Tell us where Palestine is.
Palestine is in Palestine.
You don't know where it is, do you?
It's near Israel, though.
Let my friends
Come
go.
on. Yes, Palestine. I really love Palestine.
Are you guys against Palestine?
For
Yes.
Palestine. Yes.
Yes.
Run all the Israelites, whatever they do.
Yeah. Free Palestine. This is free Palestine? Yeah, why are you doing her down? Literally, just let her go.
Guys, how old are you?
Officer, you're
14.
being very naughty.
This is being recorded.
They're about to mace him.
Maybe be recorded anyway.
What you do now has serious consequences for your future. You are children. I would wait outside and don't say something that you're going to regret a lot later in life. You've got any welfare officers that might want to...
But what about free Palestine?
Do you want to speak to these
we
their
can't
children?
really do anything
They
official.
are children. I know that.
What,
But
free Palestine?
away from police cameras and everything like that, do you want to just have a little chat with them
Palestine,
about
Palestine.
saying something they might regret?
PC Bill, very rude.
Guys, do you want to just have a little chat?
consequences for them saying free Palestine? Yeah, is
No,
there
no, no.
consequences?
If they say something that's in support of a terrorist organisation,
we know, yeah.
but I don't want children to get overexcited and blurt out
I'm
stuff.
from Palestine.
I'm happy Bricktop's there.
I'm free Gaza as well.
I support.
Do you want a bag?
Oh, these kids.
So I'm actually going to wear this
These
badge.
poor stupid kids.
Here,
Officer, you know what? You know what? Take a badge.
guys.
They should ask him which one is better, Palestine or Gaza, and see if they get really
Guys, we
confused.
don't want a free Palestine. Officer, very naughty, very naughty.
Okay, but you stop at free Palestine, you say no more, right?
Yeah, no more. Palestine will be free.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Palestine will be
I think
free.
what's happening in Palestine is very bad. There's kids in there that are dying, no food. Imagine that was us. That would be very bad. And guys sit there at home, Israeli talking about they want to kill kids.
Will the government... Yes. Bro. Will the government...
That's well, no, he's in public. So no, I can feel Section 17 public over that. Non-public order.
Quite disappointing, them kids, man. They haven't really got to do what they're talking about. Yet they're being brainwashed, to say what they're saying.
Would you rather, if someone's going to give you a free rifle and 1,000 rounds, would you rather want a 338 or a 50?
Gave them a bit of time, didn't they? We're going to go that way anyway. I mean,
Not want to pay.
I don't know, not really. I don't mind really. See my camera guys.
Was suspected to be strangulation, and the manner of death was determined and ruled homicide. There was no obvious evidence at the scene. Now, I want to remind you, for the next 25 grueling days, detectives from the sheriff's office, obviously we had crime scene involved, We had friends and family involved. We're doing everything we could to get some leads. For 25 days after this murder, we had 0 leads. Now, this is not like today. Today, with our license plate readers, we would have found him probably before he ever had a chance to murder Jennifer. Today, with our cameras in every store and every convenience store and at every gas station, we would have had a picture of his face. Today, we would have had DNA and the ability to do much, much more than we could ever do then. We had no fingerprints. We tried. We had no evidence.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the surveillance state idea.
It was degraded.
I would like to catch, terrible people, but
on the clothes, it was degraded. And you'll hear me say probably again in a minute. Over the years, we've sent over 10 different pieces of Jennifer's clothing to the labs as DNA came about and got better and better, and never were able to get anything. Not her DNA, not the suspect's DNA. We were frustrated. Then one day, Detective Bob Weeks woke up and learned on October 27th, a police officer was arrested for the abduction, the rape, and the murder of an 11-year-old child in Mascot, Florida, where he was on duty at the time. In that investigation, they had fingerprints.
Swing them from the trees, ride them like a trapeze.
They had some of Duckett's pubic hair on the victim. They had a very strong scientific case. They had witnesses. They had evidence, and he was arrested. He had been fired in June before he was arrested on October 27th. Thank goodness there was a great investigation done, and there was evidence found that obviously there was no evidence that we had in this case at the time. So 4 months after the murder of Teresa Maccabee, who was only 11 years old, by this horrible, horrible individual, 4 months later, Jennifer disappeared. And Detective Weeks said, look, there's too much opportunity for this to be the same person, and the investigation took focus. Immediately upon investigation, we learned that in fact this suspect, James Duckett, in the Lake County rape and murder of an 11-year-old.
So this happened in 1984. He was executed in 2023.
Park,
if this is the same guy.
1 mile south of Fort Meade, and only 1.8 miles from where Jennifer's body was found. Now keep in mind, Jennifer was abducted way north of Lakeland. She was found 45 minutes to an hour south, at the far south end of the county, only 1.8 miles from where the suspect, James Duckett, once lived before he was a Mascot police officer. The investigation went on. We know that on June 19th, when Duckett was fired from the police department and was under investigation
1988.
for the murder,
wrong one.
the vicious murder of that 11-year-old child, that he was reemployed by the mines. He had worked at the mines before, the W.R. Grace mines. We know that he drove from the Webster area in Sumter County, where he was currently living, south on Highway 98 every day to go to work. We know on September 19th, that fateful night that Jennifer disappeared, that he left for work 5 hours before he was to show up at work.
Yeah, I think this is Jim Duckett.
Home, where his wife was located and 2
Yeah.
children.
Oh, it's on the screen. I could have just looked over and figure out what that was.
He wasn't to go to work until
Okay.
11 p.m. that night. And Duckett, throughout our investigation, was always found to be prompt and always on time to work, whether it was the police department or whether it was the mines. They said the guy just is not late. On that evening, when he left 5 hours early and drove down Highway 98 north of Lakeland, he drove exactly past where Jennifer Weldon would have been walking home. That night, he was 2 hours late showing up for work. And he was never late. When he arrived, he was hot, he was sweaty. He said he had car trouble, but they noticed his hands weren't greasy or nasty or dirty, but he seemed a little upset or agitated. But he went to work. Now, he returned home at 9 o'clock Saturday morning to his wife and child. He went in and he gave his wife a green bag containing candy.
So the reason we're talking about this,
and a kitten, a gray kitten, just like this. And he said, I brought this for the children. She said, you brought one toy for 2 children, and she threw it away.
I think they figured out who it was
Our
today.
detectives
That's what they're
went
talking
back
about.
to the store that they shopped in to confirm that, yes, those kittens did exist, and yes, when you bought them, the store was using green bags to tie that circumstance together. So we know, and I'm going to talk about it in just a minute, because our suspect's wife told us later, yeah, he came home at 9 o'clock in the morning. Yes, he had the gray kitten. Yes, it was in a green bag, and I threw it away because what was he doing coming home? But on top of that, he had fingernail marks or scratches on his back. And she questioned him about, why is your back scratched up? To which he responded, I was climbing under a barbed wire fence at work, and that's how it got scratched.
But why though?
Carla Duckett said that during subsequent interviews, that while Duckett was in jail on the Lake County charges, that he asked her to make up fake receipts about car repairs. Her dad owned a fix-it shop and a gas station in Fort Meade to cover the fact that his car was in disrepair and not running. She refused to do that. He asked her to have his vehicle
Julius.
professionally cleaned so that the Lake County could not, or we could not, test the contents. Failed to do that. She said, no, I'm not doing that. We tried to talk to Duckett. Of course, he's a trained law enforcement officer. He went, I think he worked months at the police department, and he knew to lawyer up, and that's exactly what he did. Over the years, we've talked to Duckett many, many, many times, and with each occasion, he lawyered up and wouldn't say anything. Over the years, detectives from the sheriff's office, not counting what the family did as far as looking and working, we put in not only hundreds, not only thousands, but tens of thousands of hours on this case. We never had not one iota of evidence that anyone other than James Duckett ever committed this murder. Never. As you know, back in the day, as I said, there was no DNA, there was no cameras every place, there was no evidence.
Hey, thank you for the fiber.
Not one independent witness. And we found nothing. We looked, we found nothing to the contrary.
Thank you very, very much.
To eliminate him as a suspect. So we got to a crossroads several years ago. It's like, do we try to push a circumstantial case to a jury? It's a great circumstantial case, but we've got him really locked down tight on this Lake County case. He was convicted, and he was sentenced to death. Do we do something here to try
Niels is a millionaire and doesn't donate,
and it potentially jam up or create more defense or more arguments or more excuses why he shouldn't be executed?
All right, so what you're listening to right there is Sheriff Grady Judd over in Polk County, Florida. That is in the central part of the state.
That guy's been hitting the Ozempic.
Says that the only evidence they ever had is that James Duckett was not just involved in the murder and rape of an 11-year-old girl, for which he was executed earlier this week, but also that he was involved in the disappearance and murder of a 14-year-old girl as well. You can see her there in that photo on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. That is Jennifer Weldon. And now the question is whether or not they still try to get a conviction in that case after, again, James Duckett, that suspect, was executed on Tuesday. Right now, we are going to head to a quick break. My name is Josh Breslow, and you're watching Live Now from Fox. Much more live coverage on the other side. Stay with us.
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. If Luckner looked at that guy and was like, damn, I wish I was him. That would not surprise me worth a damn bit.
Yeah, well, your grandkids will be proud of you. Your mate earlier with the Israel flag, he went, well done for getting arrested. You silly twat or something. That geezer was... He was fucking fuming. Yeah, what, shouting at everyone? Yeah. He come right in my face and that, and I pushed him out, but he was a bit heavy on the chest, so I didn't really get him, but I'll just get out of my face, don't Yeah, a couple of times I pushed him out of his face, but he was just... Is it clip farming? He was just trying to get out. Oh, 100%. 100%.
See, Neil stopped talking when I called him out for being a millionaire. Son of a bitch.
To the Disney shop after this. If I don't come back with a Disney pin, my daughter's going to be fuming. To me, what's that? like collectible badges. He has just Disney. There's like films and stuff. What is it like?
SC is just a super chat, so Madden did the bar.
Here on Live Now from Fox, the time is 10.
Go away, Goober. Give me the news I need. Yeah, Luckner used to work for Right Side Broadcasting. He also used to work in Hollywood too.
I'd give it this app on her iPad. Yeah, I went
I don't know. He's a weird guy. That's all I can really say is he is a weird guy.
She likes it's called Flight Tracker. Yeah. And you can, if you see one coming over, it matches where it is on your thing, and you press on it, and you can see where it's coming from and where it's going.
Getting up, like,
Yeah. Brilliant. I say to her, how high is it? And she goes, oh, it's 11,000 something.
Tells you all the hours.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
No, it's good. How old is she?
6.
I mean, maybe he's a Scientologist. I don't know.
Seven in September.
Their brain's a sponge, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Whatever you put into it,
Oh yeah.
well, they get out alive.
Yeah.
I think he probably just whenever he could go to go get work.
That looks like a naughty rain cloud over there.
You know what we need?
Look at that. Look.
Oh yeah. You know what those blokes? She just passes us.
Yeah.
It fucking fucks off. It's not on the edge of Essex.
Yeah, I know.
I already said that earlier, Spank. And Poland went and scrambled jets.
At a crime scene, almost an hour away from where she lived, on a dirt road, by a psychopathic pedophile murdering worthless human being. Now, let me turn the podium over to the family, and then if y'all have any questions, we'll let you know. I appreciate our state attorney's office working with us hand in glove throughout the years. We worked a strategy to make sure that he went to the death chamber as quickly as possible. 38 years is ridiculous and unacceptable. However, he went. And we fulfilled our promise to him a long time ago. First off, Mindy's going to speak first. Jennifer's best friend.
Thank you. My name is Mindy Oakley. Jennifer and I were best friends growing up. Sheriff had showed you her shoes and her shirt that she had on when she was killed. We used to share, we shared everything. That was my shirt and my shoes that she had on the night she was killed. Sorry, it's emotional. I do want to thank Polk County Sheriff's Office. Detective McPherson has been our saving grace for the last 8 years. I'm sure he'll be glad not to see my number come up on his phone any longer because I called him once a week, twice a week. When's the governor going to sign the death warrant? When are we going to get this done? And he's always been patient with Amy and myself. We did attend the execution. The governor's office, everybody in their office was extremely wonderful to us. The staff at the prison were very gracious, very empathetic. Teresa's family, we got to bond with them. They were gracious to us because even though we know that Duckett killed her, they didn't have to let us be there. They didn't have to let us attend the execution. They didn't have to let us be a part of that. And we're very grateful to her family and the governor's office for giving us that closure. And I can't say enough about Detective McPherson. He's been wonderful to us. Thank you.
He also makes really good struts.
I was told to speak from the heart. I'm going to try to do that. I'm Jennifer Weldon's younger sister. I was born a little over 2 years after she was murdered. And I never got to know her. Those are big shoes to fill to come into the world as the first child born after the last one was taken. So I've always been acutely aware of the gravity of her absence, even though I never met her, because of efforts from my big sister Amy and Mindy, her best friend, to keep her memory alive. So though
I'm just going to put this here. Remember I was warning you guys about the cargo containers that hold weapons inside of them? Here you go. There they are for you.
Oh, he's kicking. Oh, he's kicking.
Guys fighting, so I turned the audio back on over on London. No one liked my McPherson strut joke. All right. Little car joke. Yeah. It is a sad story. That's why I don't know. I feel like it's a little too depressing for the morning. At least the guy who did it's dead now. They executed him. Trappers getting what win? McPherson struts. I never. They don't supply car parts? They did a double execution. Well, good. They got what they deserved. I feel bad for the family, though, what they had to go through. Well, right. This is only the stuff they caught him on. And they found out he did more stuff later on, right? In 2023, I think. I got to go back and look at the article. So who knows what other crimes he was involved in, right? Good morning, Sleuthy. U.S. airstrikes at Iranian air defense base in Ahdawez, southern Iran. Large number of Moroccan migrants continue to arrive at the border of Spain. Did you know they made a weapon called the La Croix Zamora? It was a 75 millimeter, 76 millimeter high impulse weapon system or for urban warfare launcher. It's a shoulder mortar weighed only 17 pounds, firing a projectile at a range of 300 meters.
And then where do you need?
Turn right onto Melbourne Road, which I've done, I think, and then turn left onto Old Marylebone. That's where I'm trying to get to. Premier Inn.
Okay, hang on, bear with me.
What's going on here? Protest?
Yeah, it's because
Yeah, I don't know if the jewels are actually in my streams or not. I know they're in Eufy's.
terrorist organisation in the UK. They're supporting it, so they're getting arrested.
And what's your channel?
My channel's UK Sploosh. It's just a general channel to record everything that's going on. And what road did that say that was on?
Weird thing is, it doesn't really say a road, it just says walk towards Melbourne Place, turn right onto Melbourne Road, turn left onto Old Marylebone. Oh no, it does say Old Marylebone Road.
Yeah, I'll get on that later. I'm in no hurry.
How long's your channel been going?
Good morning.
About a year.
Lot of subs now?
46,000-ish.
Might have been a meth lab, love bugs.
Direction that you need to go. So I believe.
Probably the next left, isn't it?
Yeah. It's saying. See the magistrate's building.
Yeah.
After that, and it's on that turn basically. Yeah. So you're going to walk parallel with this main road, and then that left, the next big left turn, you'll see it's there. Yeah. Take care. Yeah.
What's your channel again?
UK Sploosh.
Sploosh, SP.
OOSH. Yeah.
I mean, it could be up for sale and still have a meth lab in it. In fact, that's even more reason for it to have a meth lab. Squatters.
Weird, wonderful, maybe.
But like gas, a house full of gas, you could smell that from a little bit away. So the neighbors were like, yeah, it reeked of natural gas. You know what I mean? That would make sense.
Well, we've got the 50k subscribers giveaway, 50 quid, when that comes around. We can see past the helmet.
Would you rather be on a boat that's taking on water or in an aircraft that's lost its engines?
That's me, yeah.
But I know
you know where it is, yeah? Nice one. Well done, buddy. No, thank you so much, yeah? Appreciate it, yeah?
Don't be a fool. Wrap your tool.
Line bikes out, I think. Hope this has been informative for all of you.
It's been something.
Be safe. Look after everyone. Look after your families. Make sure they're okay.
That's weird. So they're actually speaking to each other again, huh?
Kind to people. You know, all the usual bits. Thank you to anyone that's donated. Thank you to the moderators. Keep your head above water. Don't be a dick. And stay humble, people.
The boat's a barge and the plane is over a jungle. How about that? Oh, you're right. Opie was the odd one out. You're right. You're right. Well, I mean, maybe that's all I'm going to do for the night. Maybe I'll go pass out so I can be back at 6. I don't know. I think I'd rather be on the boat. I think I'd rather be on the boat than I would the airplane. I feel like the boat, I could like throw some piece of crap in the water and survive. Or, you know, use the lifeboats. I never said there was no lifeboats.
Of course, that markup hearing that was set for earlier today, it was a business meeting of sorts, but it is not happening. Let's lift up the audio here and listen in as our crews are following and speaking to lawmakers. Actually looks like, yeah, they're running up to any lawmaker at this point they could find. Let's lift up the audio and listen in briefly.
Negotiating the president's case, the language in that release, by providing additional documentation. They don't want to change
Aircraft is a passenger jet
documentation
over the jungle.
Asking them to confirm his sworn testimony at the hearing about the scope of the release and what it covers and what it doesn't cover.
Boat is
the way he described in the committee, it would
100 nautical miles off the coast of Los Angeles.
Yeah, not prospectively. Right. And we're trying to deal with that in this in the context of the Blanche confirmation.
Senator, you want to sit down?
I mean, that's the rule, right? You know, you when you settle a lawsuit, it only binds the parties to the lawsuit. That's what we're trying to make clear.
Right, but you're trying to do that as opposed to just undoing all of the release.
Yeah.
Right.
So at this point, do you want to sit down with Todd Blanche? I know you were supposed to meet with him yesterday. Would this help hammer things out?
I told him I'm happy to meet with him as soon as they produce the documentation we requested. And so when they tried to have meetings without doing that, I said, we're not having a meeting until you produce a document that we can talk about. Otherwise, it's just it's unproductive.
I mean,
Clever girls.
Behind this holdup? Do you think it's the president? Who do you think is behind this holdup? Do you think it's?
I have suspicions, but I don't think it's Mr. Blanche.
Do you think it's the president?
I don't know.
Which animal would you not want to fist fight?
What do you make of the president's
saying yesterday that you're only doing this because you're upset and paraphrasing that he didn't endorse you.
I'm not the only one that has concerns about this settlement and the scope of the release, and I think that's a convenient but erroneous excuse.
Do you think this can get
If you don't get your deal, do you worry that he can evade any sort of tax liability or tax enforcement? Are you worried that if this is not done to your satisfaction, he can avoid possible
for example, the weaponization fund, Todd Blanche can say that it's a dead letter, but the fact of the matter
You
is,
wouldn't want to fist fight a fish.
that there is a
Fish fight
settlement
fish.
agreement which creates an enforceable contract. It could be revived at a later time if the president found a compliant Department of Justice that would revive that weaponization fund. We want to make sure that it remains dead and that the president isn't given any immunity from future audits that the ordinary taxpayer would not enjoy, and it wouldn't cover other agencies other than the IRS. That's
You should get rid of all taxes, and you got to worry about any of it.
Just turn back toward the cameras. What about payments that have
For
already gone
taxation
out
is
under the
theft.
program? The New York Times has reported that there's already been payouts under the anti-weaponization fund.
No, but ostriches have talons. I would not want to fight an ostrich. I would not want to fight like a grizzly bear or a wolf. Or actually, you know which one it would be? A tiger. I would not want to fist fight a tiger.
All right, looks like we are not going to.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, Chris.
Senator John Cornyn moving away from the cameras there after taking a number of questions, and he's.
It was a very
probably one of the
fishy
most
situation.
newsworthy senators on Capitol Hill right now, because you had this hearing that was supposed to be voting on the nomination of Todd Blanche before the Senate Judiciary Committee, which Senator Cornyn sits on. That hearing got postponed late last night, and what it was supposed to do is that they were supposed to take a vote on whether or not to advance Todd Blanche's nomination to the Senate floor. Senator Cornyn has had a lot
What about
of
a hippopotamus?
issues with Todd Blanche related to this anti-weaponization fund that the Trump DOJ had been pursuing. Todd Blanche says the DOJ fund is now gone, but Cornyn wanted more transparency on it, more information on it to ensure that people who were arrested on January 6th cannot sue the federal government for damages related to January 6th. And Cornyn did just say there that there are other senators that have issues with it, not just him, because yesterday during the White House briefing that President Trump had in the Oval Office, he said that he believes Senator Cornyn might be pushing back on Blanche's nomination because he lost his primary. And Cornyn responded to a question there saying that that is an erroneous excuse, and that other senators
Erroneous
do
sounds
have
like a
their
form of
issues
pasta.
with this fund that are not being answered by the DOJ. I believe they were supposed to have a meeting at some point. That meeting got canceled, and it just seems like Senator Cornyn has not gotten the answer he wanted related to this anti-weaponization fund and the acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. So his nomination is now up in smoke, and we were kind of saying this before I got on here, which was that maybe the biggest story on Capitol Hill, or the biggest hearing on Capitol Hill, was the one that is not happening, which was the Senate Judiciary Committee markup related to the Blanche nomination, which has now been postponed, and we don't know when that is going to be rescheduled. We have a tweet here coming in from Senator John Cornyn saying, "Fake news alert. There is no deal on Blanche nomination. They know what they have to do." So there you go. Senator Cornyn explaining.
Yeah, I can see a Greek philosopher.
He just did a whole gaggle there with reporters on why, this
Here is
still
erroneous with his
ongoing,
paper.
why he has not been satisfied as of right now with the nomination of Todd Blanche and some of the information that he's been given related to the confirmation process. So we'll have to wait and see ultimately if anything is going to move on this. It doesn't look like it's going to be resolved by the end of this week. This from Sheldon Whitehouse saying Republicans just took down the Blanche vote for tomorrow, shows how truthful Blanche was about the slush fund deal being dead, that he couldn't even convince Republicans. He's a slippery weasel, and that was a slippery deal. All right, we got a lot of news that we're covering here at Live Now from Fox. What was that? Yes, we do have Sheldon Whitehouse now speaking on one of our monitors here. I'm not sure what he's talking about, but let's go ahead and pull up the audio here and listen to what he has to say.
For letting me share my views. I'm grateful to you for being here. I'm particularly grateful to Public Citizen for its relentless advocacy in sunshine and in rain on the issue of corruption. Thanks very much.
All right, well, there you have it. Sheldon Whitehouse speaking at this event here on Capitol Hill called Combating Corruption. Interestingly, earlier when Minority Leader Chuck Schumer was speaking at this event, we had a protester interrupted and had to be pretty much escorted out of the room. And that was a pretty fiery moment. We had the whole thing go down live here on Live Now from
That
Fox.
guy looks like he could be a robot.
To you, but we've got a lot of other events that we were covering here. We're kind of getting up against the clock for our first commercial break.
If you were like, that guy's a robot, I'd be like, yeah,
the
yes.
monitor's kind of feeding up here, and I'll show you the shot here with our watch cam. Just give me a second here, but you can see there's a lot of things going on. We have a couple different press briefings that are happening. We have a protest that's going on. The Combating Corruption event looks like Senator Alex Padilla of California is now speaking, and then Senator Ted Cruz.
Protest?
And this monitor right here, this camera feed we have, is starting to lead I believe a hearing before the Senate Commerce Committee, which he is the chairman of. Let's go and get that first commercial break in, and we'll come right back after this with news. I'm Ryan Schmel.
Oh, Jesus, that was loud. What the hell protest is he talking about? We got the England protest. We're to watch that. He looks like a bot circumcision? You mean like a big penis? I could see him being a little bit nutty. I'm not seeing any freaking protest right now. What are you talking about? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like they grab interns to do that job. I mean, there's more of this one. Apparently, London City. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was from 2020. Somebody's just replaying it live like a bastard. Let me go see if any of our normal people, like news to share, is not out there. Status Chuck. Not out there. Ricardo Media. Not out there. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm looking. I don't see what the hell he was talking about, though.
With this anti-weaponization fund and has not been satisfied with the DOJ's answers that he's gotten so far from Blanche's team. So it looks like that meeting or that hearing was ultimately postponed. We don't know when it's going to be rescheduled, but this is yet another roadblock for Todd Blanche when it comes to being the full-time Attorney General. He's currently serving as the acting AG for the Trump administration, and President Trump has been pushing pretty hard to make sure that he gets gets that nomination. And we thought this might be a pretty smooth path for Blanche, but there's been a number of roadblocks, and this has been probably the most significant one yet. Let's go ahead and head out to this hearing right now before the Senate Commerce Committee, which is related to artificial intelligence as well as some other issues related to AI. We'll read this off here. The Subcommittee on Telecommunications and Media hearing to examine intelligence networks, focusing on powering artificial intelligence and transforming communications. One of the most hot button issues in Congress right now. So let's go ahead, pull up the audio and see how things are going.
Administration's rewrite of the BEAD program's rules didn't just open the door to satellite as a lower cost alternative to fiber, but it also deemed some homes and businesses already connected, excluding them from funding eligibility altogether. President Biden's NTIA allotted enough BEAD funding to reach nearly 6,000 homes with higher speed internet and fully connect Delaware. Our state would have been fully connected. If I could ask you, the Trump administration has cut that funding by about 74%. This disproportionately impacts rural communities like those in Kent and Sussex County in Delaware. Looking ahead, how will lack of access to reliable high-speed internet impact Delawareans' ability to participate in an increasingly AI-driven economy?
Get Starlink.
Thank you for that question. If we don't connect those thousands of homes in Delaware that are not connected, it means that they're missing out on the economic benefits of not just AI, but the access to the internet. It means that when their kids have homework assignments that they need to access the internet or to use AI, they don't have that access. It means when telehealth visits or being able to ask questions of various tools, they don't have that access either. So these are real world limitations that are being put on thousands of people in Delaware, but around the country. We shouldn't accept that. We shouldn't accept the state of the country where not every American is connected to high quality networks.
Thank you. I can tell you, you know, when folks make decisions about what is eligible and what is not, if you're just driving through one of our counties, you can already predict where your call is going to drop, where you're not going to have access to service. And to your point, this is the cost of doing business. This is the cost of our health care. This is the cost of even connecting to our neighbors. And so for me, making sure that we're all connected is a priority. And I thank you, I thank the panel, and I yield back.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Young, you are recognized.
Mr. Spalter and others, welcome. Mr. Spalter, we're going to cover a lot of ground here, so prepare, please. Indiana just landed a quantum tech hub under the CHIPS and Science Act, and our state is poised to play a critical role within the nation's quantum corridors, it's called, with significant investments in both quantum computing and artificial intelligence. How important is robust fiber infrastructure to support not only AI, but also next generation quantum technologies, and what does that mean for America's global competitiveness?
It is not just indispensable, it's existentially important to not only the success of the quantum corridor, but to our ability to scale.
Why don't you have these companies that are investing and just run the lines?
Way with speed that we can actually outpace.
Why should taxpayers pay it?
Competitors, including the Chinese. We just yesterday had a webinar with the director of the White House Quantum Coordination Office, and we explored exactly what are going to be the policy levers that can accelerate our ability as a nation to win, including in Indiana. And that's going to be about prioritizing more fiber build out and policy mechanisms that can incentivize it, including permitting reform. And so
I would not suggest eating the fiber optic lines, no matter how good they are for you.
Bills before this committee to get that done.
I'm so glad you checked permitting reform there as well. I will say, and I advertise this to all that will listen, I think we're very close in terms of bipartisan coalition. I think it needs a nudge from the powers that be to get it across the line, maybe make some principled accommodations, but I think we're close to enabling that golden age the president talks about. Long-haul fiber networks use facilities called fiber huts to keep signals strong over long distances. These important facilities are often
relay
left
stations,
out
yes.
of our conversations related to communications infrastructure. Because fiber huts are cited in many states and local communities, different rules for permits and construction can slow down new projects and broadband deployment. How do different state and local rules affect the building of these facilities? And what, most importantly, what can Congress do to make the process faster and more consistent?
It's private business.
We're going to see increasing innovation as to how we can accelerate fiber.
We should not be involved.
Networks and
bye-bye, Larry. You have a good rest of your day, buddy.
Huts. Oftentimes, these can be as small as 8 by 6 feet placed in a rural area. Yet, many times, rural state and local rules will treat that tiny fiber hut in the same way that they might have a significant, large advanced manufacturing facility in terms of permitting processes. If we can move forward swiftly to pass legislation like Close the Gap Act, the Rail Act, Accelerating Broadband Permits Act, and ask every committee of Congress that's considering permitting reform to include broadband in its consideration, we'll be able to actually get the work done.
Fantastic. 2 groups of questions, 2 minutes left. Here we go. Cybersecurity. And the risk, perhaps increasing risk, that bad actors with access to sophisticated advanced frontier AI models will utilize them for nefarious purposes, including to initiate cyber or ransom attacks. How important, sir, is the ability for government and the private sector, including broadband providers, to share cyber threat information in real time?
The clock is ticking, sir. We are currently authorized through CISA 2015 to do that information sharing through September 30th. It needs to be reauthorized for the long haul. Given the increasing sophisticated and advanced threats that we're facing, without that ability embedded in CISA 2015, we will have not just one hand tied behind our backs, but 2 hands tied behind our backs.
Man, I should go be a lobbyist. I think I can make some bank.
Anticipated my last question.
Oh, wait, no, I have morals. Never mind.
Of CISA 2015. I'll give you in the remaining 45 seconds an opportunity to unpack a little bit more, if you can, how expiration would impact potential mitigation and response capabilities.
I'm sorry, what?
How expiration of CISA 2015 would impact mitigation or response capabilities. Mr. Everson seems eager to offer a response. Is that accurate? Or were you just adjusting yourself in the chair?
Thank you, Senator.
He's playing with his packer.
One thing that I will say, I'm probably not the best person on the policy, but the thing that I will say is that your point around threat intelligence is one of the #1 priorities that we have. At Cisco, we actually, one of our big strengths is that we have an enormous threat intelligence organization. If we didn't have that, we would not have the level of sophistication on it in cybersecurity.
If I could also, that one of the reasons that we need to keep a pace with AI innovation and not slow it down is because it's the very AI tools and models, both frontier and open weight, that are becoming part of our defense mechanisms. We need to be able to advance them in order to be able to protect our networks against very well equipped, very well financed.
Keep an eye on our neighbors.
Adversaries.
Proving once again, these are
little
national
Freudian slip there.
security issues. I keep saying this committee is a national security committee, so when I'm working on merchant shipping, Department of Commerce, it's a national security issue. It's a national security issue. This is not about creating jobs. It's a happy byproduct of a national security play. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Senator Young. We've been joined by the ranking member of the committee, Senator Cantwell. Senator, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you so much to you and Ranking Member Lujan for holding this important hearing and your continued focus on these important communication issues. I want to thank my colleague from Indiana who just spoke about how this is a national security issue, and he and I worked on the first federal role for our government in AI policy and got that implemented, and every day I am thankful that we got that started. I think almost, I don't know, now I think it's probably years ago. But anyway, we are here today, and we continue
As
to
he
see a
openly says,
fast-moving
we're building
environment, and
AI
the
to spy on
question
our
is, what are we
neighbors.
going to do to step up to that, both from the security point of view and from a competitive point of view? So artificial intelligence, we saw last week with OpenAI's disclosure of an unprecedented security incident. One of its advanced models broke out of the sandbox and created a complex cyber attack against Hugging Face. So AI can design viruses, toxins, biological weapons. It can be used to design an entirely new pathogen that are difficult to detect and counter. And today's hearing comes at an important moment as AI accelerates new capabilities that are being unlocked every day.
So this is all woman that's scared of the computer.
So,
Gotcha.
Mr. Ramzanali, is that how you pronounce it? Ramzanali? You brought this up in your testimony about the Hugging Face, making it abundantly clear that we needed to have regulation on these, not self-certification, but some regime, and that it might often need us to look into this from an international perspective too, because we're not just regulating this technology for what might happen in the United States, but what maligned actors might do with this technology as well. So what do you think that we need to do to make sure that we get this right? Particularly, I think this committee knows a lot about cybersecurity. I think over the time I've been on the committee, we've had many, many hearings about cybersecurity. I wouldn't say we necessarily.
It's because you guys didn't want to invest in anything until the movie
and we continued to see attacks
War Games came out
on the private sector.
And then Reagan asked, "Hey, is that actually possible?" They said, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, we should invest it to make sure that doesn't happen."
But that makes that look like child's play. This makes that look like child's play. So could you elaborate on what you think we need to do to address issues like the biological threats, where AI could provide a step-by-step instruction for engineering of novel,
it's a computer, not a life form.
Super bugs.
So if it doesn't have access to that stuff, it can't make it.
The advanced AI models could be really key in solving some very important programs, but also could be used for uranium enrichment and nuclear bomb trigger designs. And so if that gives a lot of people on an international basis access to more information and proliferation, what do we do about that? And then just on this cyber security model that again, very familiar.
This woman doesn't know anything, does she?
Software state. We all know that software can be buggy, but now we're not talking about buggy software. We're talking about software that writes itself, goes attacks systems, creates big holes. It's almost like it's a chemical itself in the kind of damage that it could be doing corrosively within our cybersecurity network for safety, and we wouldn't even know about it. So that's a lot, but we invited you here because we thought you could help us with this, and what are the things that we need to put in place?
It's a lot, but this is the core of the problem. So I appreciate you highlighting it and your longstanding work on these issues. I think about this in a few different ways. First, all of the critical infrastructure systems that we have today need to be hardened. Second, pre-deployment testing can help us become aware of the types of threats that are coming. And this is the role of government. Government has biologists, it has nuclear weapons experts. The national labs that we employ have those kinds of experts. We should be deploying all of them to help understand what the threat landscape looks like. Third, each one of those threats that you described has its own supply chain and ecosystem, and we need to look at it from a systems lens. When we talk about the biological concerns
you could just read up how to make a nuke in a book.
What are models able to do? What does that look like
You
when you're
could,
able to do
you could literally go to your
one exploit after
library
another?
and go pick one up
But
right
there's also
now.
a whole host of other
You could
things that
type
have
it
to
in
happen,
Google.
including integrating with
Tell you
cloud
how to do
labs,
it.
getting access to biological agents. So we should be looking at every part of that and worried.
Though if you get
I'm
the
worried
book
that
and
we're
you
not
read
looking
it,
at every
it's
part
probably
of
be
that and
less
doing as
eyes
much
at
as
you.
we
What's up,
can.
Cannabis Kid?
Both the last administration and to its credit, this administration have made progress on some of these questions, but we have to do way more. I think you're exactly right to say that the landscape is changing and we're still moving incrementally in some of these domains.
But we shouldn't be fearful about these national security organizations within our government being involved
80-year-old
in trying to get
technology.
this right and
Like-
protect us. Is that correct? I think some people are proposing there's like this self-certification model and we just have to go fast.
I think
what we have to go fast on is all of us coming together on what are the right security layers to protect our citizens and our nation and to advance our competitiveness. And so that often does take some of the smartest people within our federal government, particularly when you're dealing with some of these biological or nuclear
at
weapons.
least 20 years behind,
Exactly
right?
The
Like,
scale of the problem we're talking about when it relates to safety and security is not commensurate with a self-certification voluntary regime.
man, my
We don't
stomach's
put up
all
with
upset. I
massive
got no
safety
idea
and
why.
national security concerns with paperwork being the response.
I was gonna start blowing chunks over here.
Well,
Start
it certainly
vomiting.
hasn't worked out in aviation. I can
Y'all
tell
good
you
with that, right?
We're just advancing too fast, if you ask me. Even in aviation, you have to have. If you are
This
trying to
woman really
understand
is
the
stupid, isn't
interaction
she?
between hardware and software, but in this case,
Oh,
I think
that's what
that
it was
hasn't
called.
been amplified is how dangerous the cyber attack universe is, just that in and of itself, and how promulgating, I guess is the right, I'm not sure that's the right word, but I'm going to use it, promulgating of the attack that AI could be. It could be quite significant on its own, going
Careful,
through a
guys. The
system.
internet's going to come alive and kill all of us.
Incredibly disruptive to our lives if we have to consistently worry about AI-based cyber attacks disrupting banks and hospitals and telecommunication systems, because that's just happening as a regular part of our life. We should not accept that future. We should try to avoid a future where those kind of attacks become commonplace.
Okay.
Well, I don't think we've quite got the cyber regime correct yet today, because we are still seeing attacks and a lot of personal information still being exposed. And I think
Her
we continue to want to work
naked
with our
photos got out.
telecom
She's still
industry to
upset.
make sure they're making the investments. that
Nobody
keep us
saw him,
going.
but she's still upset.
But I see I'm over time, Madam Chair. Can I go on one? How do you suggest that what areas do you suggest we engage on an international basis to get an international regime? What areas would you suggest?
The international part's the hardest. That's where there's going to be diverging interests that we have to figure out. One of the oldest existing international organizations we have is the ITU, which started as the International Telegraph Union, because we needed to come together to figure out a system that works for a technology that doesn't respect borders. That's where we are today, and the threats are much bigger, and the issues at play are much larger.
Unless you're China and you have that big firewall
There's a
thing.
lot of work done in the last administration. This administration is doing a lot. All of those feel insufficient. So I think we need to rethink how we approach this and start from what are everybody's interests. And I do believe there are shared interests in safety and security.
It's almost like you could build a system where all the lines
I agree, but I think
hit
we
into
have to think
servers
about
before it gets into your
some of these
country. Oh, wait.
non-proliferation regimes that existed and how they functioned and what we have to do here. As well. And so we'll look forward to more questions, but thank you for this very important hearing. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Senator Cantwell. Senator Lujan and I are going to ask just a couple more questions before we close the hearing.
All right, we are going to go ahead and pull out of this because we do have some breaking news that we want to touch on here on Live Now from
Oh,
Fox.
no.
Some of that news includes this.
Includes what?
President Trump is saying that he is open to withdrawing Todd Blanche's nomination if the delays with his nomination related to John Cornyn as well as Tom Tillis continue. Remember, this confirmation hearing was postponed earlier today, but we do have this now from President Trump on Truth Social saying this: Todd Blanche is a star and everyone knows it. He has the potential to go down as one of the greatest attorney generals of all time. However, John Cornyn of Texas and Tom Tillis of North Carolina, both of whom I refuse to endorse and whose political careers have been ended by my action, are refusing to vote for this great nominee who will
Todd Blanche is a star, and everyone knows it.
Remain in
Look,
any
dude,
event as
I can
acting.
read it off for
Remember,
you.
both
Don't worry.
Cornyn and Tillis voted for Merrick Garland and others, too numerous to mention. I have no objection to temporarily
That's a
withdrawing
Japan
Todd's name
7.
if they do not do the right thing and putting him back
Or a
after
California
Cornyn and Tillis
5.
are out of office. President
Or a
Donald J. Trump.
Iowa
there's two
10.
ways to read into that. There is the possibility of President Trump just keeping Todd Blanche's nomination as acting Attorney General until the end of the year when John Cornyn and Tom Tillis are no longer in office. replaced by either Republican or Democrat. Keep in mind, both of their seats are at risk of being flipped here because Democrats are competitive in both North Carolina and Texas, or President Trump could put somebody else in the role and nominate somebody else and then maybe replace them when he has the votes for Todd Blanche. Now, keep in mind, John Cornyn has made it pretty clear that he is open to still voting for Todd Blanche. He just needs the Department of Justice to provide certain documentation on this anti-weaponization fund, which some believe would allow the people who were pardoned from January 6th or arrested during January 6th to sue the federal government for damages. And Cornyn said
They
earlier
should be
that
able
he
to,
feels
yes.
that there is still not enough presentation of those documents and insurances that this weaponization fund cannot come back. Though Blanche has said that that fund is no longer active, but that hasn't been enough for those like John Cornyn and Tom Tillis who are still very concerned about it. Cornyn was asked earlier that he still has his suspicions, but I don't think that it's Mr. Blanche, probably referencing the Department of Justice. And then he also was asked about President Trump saying yesterday that he's upset because President Trump did not endorse John Cornyn, instead endorsed his opponent, Ken Paxton, who ultimately ended up going on to win and is now the Republican nominee in Texas. Cornyn said this: "I'm not the only one who has concerns about this settlement and the scope of the release, and I think that's a convenient but erroneous excuse." So tension and drama certainly brewing on Capitol Hill for one of the most important positions in President Trump's cabinet, that is the Attorney General position, which he is trying to take acting AG Todd Blanche, make him the full-time AG, but there still seems to be a lot of problems for Blanche when it comes to getting that nomination. I'm Ryan Spells. You're watching live now from Fox. We'll get our next 2-minute commercial break in right now. More news when we come back after break.
I was actually more interested in the AI thing. More or less, I just kind of want to hear them stumble over their own dick and not knowing what the hell they're talking about. Is Tio awake? Oh my God, Tio's awake sending me stuff. Shit. I look over, there's Tio sending me stuff. I guess he's awake too. I'm looking for the AI thing right now. AI Oversight Committee, maybe? I'll ask Tio. He's over here looking. I'm talking to Trappers, Tim from Trapper Outdoors. I sent him a picture of the cucumber it just grew. And he says, now I need chickens. And I said, I gotta worry about the chickens because, about the snow. He's like, I'll just get a heater and stuff. I was like, all right.
This is from earlier today when Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer was interrupted during a speech on combating corruption on Capitol Hill. A protester confronting Leader Schumer and then taken out of the room.
They killed him. They took him out.
From Fox, just one of the many top stories we are following across Capitol Hill. As tensions are pretty high as there was a scheduled vote in the Senate Judiciary Committee today on Todd Blanche's nomination to be Attorney General that has been postponed as Republicans are failing to currently get the votes in the Judiciary Committee for his nomination after Senators John Cornyn and Tom Tillis both raised concerns about the DOJ's anti-weaponization fund. We're going to go ahead and head back out
Again,
to this event that has been underway.
I think they should be able to sue the government.
Innovation in front of the Senate Commerce Committee. Let's go ahead and pull up the audio as Senator Ben Ray Lujan is currently asking questions.
As a future consideration, or sorry, not as a future consideration, but as something that we should be pushing to be implemented now?
The answer is absolutely yes. I think that as we're envisioning the future network and the future needs that the network will support, including the types of traffic patterns, but also use cases that quantum will deliver. We need to begin that work now, not just in terms of the technology evolution that we're seeing in the labs and now transferring to commercial uses, because other countries, particularly China, is advancing those efforts as well, but also in terms of our thoughtful ways of developing legislative and regulatory frameworks that will prime the pump on allowing us to deliver the promise of quantum, so that on the long term, we can do things like USF reform. We can do things like make sure that we are prioritizing all incentives possible, including permitting reform, to get more fiber and its symmetrical speeds, and particularly importantly, its low latency measured in the single digits of milliseconds that fiber networks will be able to
Medicare stuff
for our quantum future.
I appreciate that. And Mr. Everson, in one of your responses, I think to the chairman of the committee, you said something along the lines of people, users, may not be too concerned about how they're connected as long as they're connected to fast speeds. Should users be connected if they're connected? It's a loaded question. What I mean by that, Mr. Everson, is if people are not connected.
If you got rid of all the garbage on the internet,
there are people across
the internet
America
would
today
run
that
smoother.
don't have access to the internet. Some because there's no connection, there's no offering. Others because they can't afford it. And I appreciate what I believe I've heard from everyone about their support for USF reform. I would call it USF modernization. With all the work, with all the thoughtfulness that has got into this space. My question I have two closing questions here is, one, do you believe that USF modernization is needed and that the United States should adopt it and that Congress should act? Mr. Spalter?
Absolutely, yes.
So I'll be making a new Trappers video when I go out to camping on the 7th.
Project.
Commissioner?
Certainly, and I have a good question, Senator Lujan. I think about the network in the United States. It's like the interstate system built in 1956. 50,000 miles were built under cooperation, no private partnership necessarily. We need to be there, and I think USF really needs to be modernized, as you mentioned, and we're primed for it now. I think the communities and the citizens are ready, and they want to support it.
Appreciate that. Mr. Jefferson?
Yes, thank you, Senator, and thank you for the clarification. I think USF has been an essential resource and something that we need to continue to look at and modernize for the AI era.
Appreciate that. Mr. Ramzanali?
Yes, and we need to continue to focus on its effects on low-income consumers and how they can be supported.
No, I appreciate that very much. Look, as we get to this place with the concerns that have been shared around the policy and what the United States needs to do to ensure that there's guardrails and that there's rules and there's guidance, that it's clear that there's liability. Whether it's to the companies that are developing these models that have responsibility with these agents, or it's the end user who is then taking an open model and then using it for nefarious reasons. There needs to be liability somewhere so that people don't do that, whether it's criminal, it's civil, or it's both.
Hacking into people's stuff's illegal already.
Everyone across the country has the ability to take advantage of the promise of what this technology is, and that means we have to be able to get connected. And so I hope that we can preserve the investment, that we can see USF modernization, that everyone involved, including the FCC, does good rather than bad, that we move things in a positive way as opposed to rolling rules back that make it harder for everyday folks across the country. And Madam Chair, I want to commend you and the staff for this important hearing, for all the panelists that are here today. This is so important. I hope we have more conversations in this space and that good policy comes out of these conversations. So just applaud you for your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Lujan. As I said earlier, it is a joy to be able to work with you on these issues. You're very informed, you're very passionate.
You know,
and,
Harmless, I believe that
we
you are
agree
correct.
on many, many issues, so I'm feeling positive on what the outcome's going to be. I would like to thank all of our witnesses for their testimony here today. Senators will have until the close of business on August 6th to submit questions for the record, and then the witnesses will have until the close of business on August 20th to respond to those questions. This concludes today's hearing, and the committee stands adjourned.
Appreciate that.
That fire?
All right, that concludes that hearing right there before the Senate Commerce Committee.
But they didn't really see anything. Like, the whole thing is they're trying to get more data lines across the United States, which I believe those data lines need to be paid for not by taxpayers, but by businesses, right? The business should be the one out there doing it, because guess what? They're going to tax the crap. Like, I don't like the idea of the United States government putting in lines. One, it's going to cost 4 times the price, right? 2, it's going to up taxes wherever those are at. And then 3, as Harmless said, or Homeless, mostly Homeless, said that the it's to help data centers. And I don't think we should be paying for that. I think the businesses should be paying for that. Especially since there's other ways of doing it, like Starlink and other wireless transmitting that's becoming more and more readily available. I don't believe that dropping those lines is going to be for the consumer. I think it's for businesses. So those businesses should pay for them. You want to have, 100 miles of line put in, pay for it. Yeah, it's going to pay you out the ass. Yeah, but, it's going to be cheaper than the government's doing it. And on top of it, they're like, oh, we need to worry about all these illegal things people are going to do. Look, hacking into people's stuff's already illegal, right? Like, you can't break into stuff and start destroying infrastructure, right? It's just, it's not the thing. So I don't know why they want to put in more laws either. I feel that's just, I feel like it's just another, I feel like it's very underhanded, right? Like, I feel that there is something going on that nobody's really talking about that's going to be for, screwing the rest of us all over. And then you're going to start putting these data lines in, and what the other thing's going to happen is they're going to be putting these lines and be like, hey, we need to run this 400 miles of lines and drop this in, and we have to eminent domain your land to get it in there, right? So you might have, 100 acres, and you have your horses, your cows, or whatever, and then the government comes there and be like, oh yeah, well, we're going to take this big ass channel, and we're also going to put this relay station here because this is where it needs to be. Suck it, Whitey. Oh, thanks. Thanks. That's great. I'm happy that this passed. Well, apparently the bottle drops are starting to disappear now. Bottle drop is you would go there with plastic and whatever and drop them off. Popular North Portland bottle and can redemption centers officially closing up Fridays doors following years of complaints involving activities around local Delta Park. Probably could get a bunch of homeless and stuff in there. That's not what they wanted.
Part of it should ever be surrendered to private investors. The World Cup is not for sale, which plays into that statement that we just saw right there. Livid over Trump-loving FIFA President Gianni Infantino's aggressive moves to commercialize global soccer, insiders had told the newspaper Europe's soccer bosses were very confident they would secure a landslide majority of more than 50 countries to vote against his plans. So,
this guy's reading worse than me when I haven't slept.
That is just breaking here.
And he's actually getting paid to be on there.
The New York Post pretty much saying that European countries are threatening to boycott the World Cup moving forward. And so we might see a situation,
next one,
if this
Julius,
is not resolved, where some of the most high-profile players and high-profile names in all of soccer not taking part in World Cup activities. This from Martin Ziegler.
Well, that's how they get paid, so I don't really see that happening
in
for him.
Support of boycotting World Cup and protest at FIFA's plans to sell stakes in tournament to private investors. Say sources, decisions taken at emergency virtual meeting. Now, we do have this statement. This is the whole statement right here. Okay, it's getting handed to me right now. Okay, so what do we got here? This is pretty much the statement from the UEFA. The whole one? Okay, we're going to go ahead and read it in its entirety, so forgive me if I stumble a little bit. I'm just seeing this for the first time. Okay, so UEFA and its 55 member associations stand as one. We unanimously and unequivocally reject FIFA's proposal to transfer ownership interest in the World Cup and other FIFA competitions to private investors. The World Cup cannot be treated as an investment product. It is one of football's greatest sporting legacies. It has been built over generations by players, national teams, and supporters across every continent. No part of it should ever be surrendered to private investors. The World Cup is not for sale. It is both irresponsible and indefensible that a proposal of such significance for football was conceived in secret and brought to the brink of approval without any meaningful consultation with those entrusted with stewarding the game. This is not merely a profound failure of leadership, but an abdication of FIFA's duty as the custodian of world football. National associations around the world are now presented with an ultimatum: accept the irreversible capture of football's greatest competitions or bear the consequences. This is not a democratic decision by governance, but governance by intimidation, an act of coercion unworthy of an institution entrusted with the stewardship of the global game. But our opposition goes far beyond process. The movement external investors acquired ownership interest in FIFA's competitions. Football changes forever. Commercial return becomes a permanent obligation. Investor expectations become a daily pressure. From that moment onwards, every decision on the international calendar, every decision on competition formats, and every decision shaping the future of football is no longer driven by what best serves the game, but by what best serves shareholders. This model has no place in world football. Football's future cannot be dictated by the expectations of those whose first duty is to maximize financial return, nor can the interests of national associations, leagues, clubs, players, and supporters become subordinate to investor returns. Football cannot mortgage its future for financial gain. That's just some of the statement that we just read off here. We still have a significantly longer statement that we could be reading off. We will. Do we want to continue reading, or we could put that on our website if you want to go there and read the entire statement off. But here's kind of a link to the statement here from the UEFA. We're kind of waiting right now to see if we have anything come in from Gianni Infantino, the president of FIFA. Okay, yeah, so this is what we got to watch for here in the future for FIFA. So 2027, the FIFA Women's World Cup. You have 2030, the FIFA World Cup again. Then the FIFA Club World Cup, not sure on specific dates for that, but also the FIFA International Cup. So a number of events in the future that this is going to have to get worked out if these major teams want to be a part of this. So this has turned into quite the domino effect here, where now you have some of the biggest programs, biggest countries in the world of soccer who are saying that they're going to boycott FIFA now. So it's hard to imagine FIFA without Germany, Spain, France. I didn't see Argentina on this list, but I think they very well could be a possibility as well. But these were some of the, I mean, what were the finals again? We had Spain, France, Argentina, and England. Okay, so that's pretty much all of them. The final four teams are threatening to boycott FIFA now. That's let that except okay, so Argentina's not on the list. Okay, so pretty much 3 of the 4 teams that were in the semifinals for the FIFA World Cup are now threatening to boycott FIFA moving forward over this new deal. So a lot to follow here. We are up against the clock for our last commercial break. We'll have more news for you coming up in just a little bit, and more updates on what to expect from this major decision related to the World Cup moving forward. I'm Ryan Schmelz. You're watching live now from Fox. We'll be right back in just a second.
You guys want to see something terrifying? Have you guys seen this? Oh, their website doesn't work on here. Oh, I have to kill and go back. There we go. It's very early for me. I haven't slept yet. My stomach was acting all stupid, so I was like, well, since I'm up anyways and I feel like poop, I might as well come up and show everybody the crazy, scary robot. So this company decided they're going to make a centaur robot. And already people are like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what rounds I need to go buy to kill this thing when it shows up at my house. I've been trying to find videos of it, but all I can find is a few shorts people have made. It so has its own chainsaw. You can get with it. It's like, could you imagine you're walking through the woods and you see that? People are saying it looks like a sleep paralysis demon. You're just chilling in the woods. Bigfoot ain't got shit on that. Terrified. I'm trying to find like more video of it because it's circulating the internet because it just, I guess, came out. But it says human-like torso and arms allow for natural teleportation and interfacing with designed for human tools and environment. Quadro body with friction braked joints allow for a stable platform with no latent power consumption when it's not in motion. And it doesn't have hands per se, but it's got tools you can attach or other things you can attach to it. Be it sensors or other tools. They're saying this robot is more dangerous than it looks. As in any robot with human-like strength, size, and maneuverability, we are taking a physical approach to safety mechanisms with no ambiguity. Fail on air brakes and pin locks will render the robot immobile if the system pressure is lost. Shared reservoir in the chest and body can be pierced by projectiles or sharp instruments to instantly stop the robot in place. So there's actually even there's even a guide saying, like, if it goes crazy, here's how you kill it. Three halves will be substantially slowed if attempting to navigate a standard American 32 by 80 door and cannot turn around in a 4-foot wide hallway or 42-inch hallway, or enter a door octagonally to the hallway. Larger horns can be fit to prevent any passage through pedestrian door. 2 3-half robots fit inside by side in a crouch position in a pickup bed, the 5 to 7 longer with tailgate closed. So if you want some creepy robot, but you're afraid it's gonna like break in your door or something, apparently they tell you how to kill it. They're saying you just shoot the air bladders and it will stop. Like, I'm not even kidding. They have an image which shows stab or shoot. Oh, where is the image? Oh, it did it stupidly. Hold on. See, look, they even tell you how to kill it if needed. I've been out of the loop. Is that Pacific Hurricane going to hit Hawaii? No, it's going into Japan and China, I believe. I don't think it's going anywhere else.
She was laying in the snow on the ground, right?
No.
In the cold?
Correct.
And what's hemostasis? Do you know?
What's that?
What's hemostasis? What does that mean?
Hemostasis?
Coagulation.
And do you know what the effect of hypothermia? Let me ask you, what's hypothermia?
It's just the body under temperature of the body.
Under temperature of the body?
Or your body is not at temperature that it should be.
Right, because of the environment, right? Cold, right?
Yes.
Sometimes it can be medically induced, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hypothermia affects the blood flow, doesn't it?
Yes.
In fact, you actually have a thing called therapeutic hypothermia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if they have to restrict the blood flow to either a heart or a brain or something, that a person can be induced medically to be cold,
yes.
And it would restrict blood flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all these questions about whether or not there's blood seeping through the wrist bandages and whether or not there's blood through the holes on the neck brace, you don't know what effect the hypothermia, if any, had on that, would you?
No.
Thank you, sir. That's
Redirect.
Sir, there's typically heat in a hospital, correct?
Usually, yes.
And were you aware that, well, Ms. Clancy went to South Shore Hospital, correct?
Yes.
And are you aware that the wounds on her wrist did not have to be sutured until the following day?
I didn't get any of that information after.
Were you aware that the wound on her neck never had to be sutured?
Same answer.
Thank you.
Anything further? Thank you, sir. Thank you. Step down. Thank you. Step, please, sir.
Cromwell calls Vincent Cahill.
You may testify.
That guy just burp in the mic.
All right, good morning, sir.
Morning, Your Honor.
Sure.
Good afternoon, sir. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Sure. My name is Vincent Cahill. It'll be Vincent. Last name Cahill. That'll be Cahill.
And your date of birth, please.
11/11/1996.
Where do you work?
I work at the Duxbury Police Department.
How long have you been with the Duxbury Police Department?
About 5.5 years.
I want to direct your attention to January 24th, 2023. Were you working that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you on patrol?
Yes.
And directing your attention further to approximately 6:11 p.m., were you dispatched to 47 Summer Street in Duxbury?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you arrived there, well, how long did it take you to get there approximately?
A couple minutes.
And when you arrived there, what did you see?
When I arrived there, I saw a cruiser in the driveway, as well as an ambulance and a fire captain.
And did you head to the backyard?
Yes.
And did you see a woman on the ground there being cared for?
Yes.
And did you later learn?
I don't know anything about this murder trial. It's just something to put
At
on.
some point, do you hear, or did you hear loud screaming?
Yes.
And as a result of that, did you go inside the home?
Yes.
And did you go to the basement area?
Yes.
And when you went down the basement stairs, did you go to the right or the left?
I initially went to the right, and I was following the father.
So as you're going down the stairs, you say the father, is that Patrick Clancy?
Yes.
Do you see him as you're going down the basement stairs?
Yes.
And where is he coming from and where is he going to?
It's coming from my left, heading to my right.
And what is his demeanor?
He was screaming.
And as you came down the stairs, did he point in a direction?
Yes.
Where did he point to?
To the left side.
And is that where you headed?
Yes.
And when you went to the left, did you see two children on the floor in that area of the basement?
Yes.
And what did you do?
I checked the pulse of the 5-year-old girl and passed that information along. And then when fire came on scene, I then was backing away because fire was going to start taking care of the 5-year-old girl. I then backed into the infant who was on the ground.
So you said that you checked the 5-year-old. Was that Cora Clancy?
Yes.
You checked her for a pulse. Did she have a pulse?
No.
And you said fire came down and started taking over. Was that firefighters from Duxbury Fire Department?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said you started backing up. Is that when you bumped into Callan Clancy?
Yes, ma'am.
And at that point in time, what did you do next?
I checked Callan's pulse.
And did he have a pulse?
No.
Did firefighters take over care of Callan?
Yes.
At that point, did you do something to make it easier for the people to fit in the room and treat the children?
Yes, I moved a large futon or ottoman, piece of furniture.
And I'm showing you Exhibit 96. Directing your attention to the couch bed and the ottoman on top of it. Were you the one that placed that ottoman on top of the couch bed?
Yes, ma'am.
After that, Were you asked to help get some equipment for the children?
Yes.
And did you do that?
Yes.
And did you bring the equipment to the basement?
Yes.
And after that, did you assist with getting Cora to the ambulance?
I assisted with rescue breaths with Cora as well as CPR. I aided with Officer Josephine.
And how were you doing the rescue breaths and the CPR?
I was using a bag valve mask. Myself and Officer Josephine were timing it every couple seconds. It was 15 seconds. I was doing rescue breaths on Cora.
Okay. And at some point, she's taken out of the basement into an ambulance, correct?
Yes.
Did you assist with that?
I don't recall.
And at any point, did she regain a pulse or ability to breathe while you were helping to assist her? At some point in time, were you given the task of monitoring who came into the scene and who left the scene throughout the night?
Yes.
And showing you what's entitled Crime Scene Entry and Exit Log. Is this the form that you were in charge of? Just documenting every time someone came to the scene or left the scene.
Yes, ma'am.
If I could have this marked as the next exhibit, please.
Any objection? No. All right, that may be admitted.
I have nothing further. Thank you.
Counsel? No. All right, thank you, sir. Lisa.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, if we may approach side by.
Sure.
Okay, we're going to pull away from this because it looks like they're taking a little bit.
They posted on social media telling people to get in touch if they need supplies. They have spent the past 2 days driving all over the region to homes like this one.
なんか地震で困ることはあります？
今水ない。
水ない。
The group that lives here is from
So they were getting people
Indonesia,
drinkable water
but reached out to the
that were
Vietnamese
affected in the
Association for
earthquake.
help.
Also, they're dropping
The
off
house itself was
generators to
damaged by the
people,
quake.
air
But
conditioners.
the bigger issue is the lack of water.
大変です。何もできません。シャワーとかできない。飲めないも。
One of the residents says the water cut out after the quake, while it came back for a few hours this morning. She said it was cloudy and undrinkable.
嬉しいです。
It might be contaminated.
ありがとうございます。これ本当にもらえるは本当にありがとうございます。
一刻も早く普段の生活を復旧できるように願っています。それでやっぱこう一番水が早く直してほしいですね。
Rikuya, I was there with you yesterday, and it feels like there's so much to do before Kumamoto can feel back to normal. Do we have any idea how long that could take?
It's still too early to say. Like you mentioned, there's still so much to be done. Key lifelines like electricity and water need to be secured. Then there is the question of repairs. There are many damaged houses, not to mention torn up streets. At one point, we even drove by the Shinkansen track and saw some of the side panels had fallen off. It's hard to imagine how long all that is going to take.
The U.S. Central Command says its forces successfully completed a heavy wave of strikes against Iran in response to what it's calling attempted missile attacks from Tehran.
Nothing new there. What's everybody doing? Is everyone still there? You guys alive? Hello?
conference featuring Ben Crump and the family of Nolan Wells, which is going to be taking place, as we just learned, at the National Urban League's annual conference. Now, we are also expecting to get updates on the cases related to Daniel Irving as well as Tyler Smith. So Crump is supposed to come out. He might be joined by the families of all three of these individuals, and we are expecting him to give an update on all three cases. He'll also be joined by Mark Morial, who is the president and CEO of the National Urban League, who will, and from the press release saying, who will voice the league's support for the family's pursuit of answers. I'll read off a little bit more here from the press release saying this. All three were 18 years old. All three were 18-year-old black men who died within 3 months of each other, and in each case, the families dispute or are still awaiting the official account of how their son died. Nolan Wells, an Ocean Springs, Mississippi student athlete, traveled by boat to Horn Island with friends on July 4th and did not return with the group. A park ranger found his body 2 days later, and the case and the cause of death has not been determined. Daniel Irving, an honor roll student and swimmer, was at Lake Ray Hubbard near Rowlett, Texas, with 2 white teenagers on April 13th and did not come home. His body was recovered 4 days later, and his death was ruled an accidental drowning. Tyler Smith, a recent Lafayette High School graduate, died of a gunshot wound in Lexington, Kentucky on July 4th. Police reported the shooting as accidental and self-inflicted, an account his family disputes. According to the Lexington Police Department citation, the firearm officers recovered did not match the shell casing found at the scene. We could probably do a little bit more here. So Nolan's family commissioned an independent autopsy, and the preliminary findings released July 22nd listed the case and manner of death as undetermined pending further investigation. Police have since charged 20-year-old Bryce Chestnut with tampering with physical evidence in the Smith case, and 19-year-old Lucas Roper and a 16-year-old with the same offense in the Irving case. No one has been charged in connection with any of the 3 deaths. So again, we are expecting the families of Daniel Irving, Tyler Smith, and Nolan Wells to be speaking here with prominent civil rights attorney Ben Crump, and then also Mark Morial, who is the CEO of the National Urban League. Again, this was supposed to get started at 12 o'clock, noon Eastern time. It is now 10 minutes past that, so we are still going to be awaiting this to get underway. We've got a couple other things that we're following here too. Looks like we have the Department of Justice, which is supposed to be having an event here in just a little bit in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm watching a couple of the monitors here, and I can kind of bring you back here to show you what I'm looking at here. On a number of our screens, we have the feeds for the Nolan Wells press conference featuring Ben Crump. We also have the Senate floor, which is currently voting right now. Not sure what they're voting on. They cleared a major procedural hurdle yesterday when it came to the bill that they are putting out in honor of Lindsey Graham. Pretty much, I believe it's called the Lindsey Graham Act, and this is supposed to be a
Is that what's going on,
massive Russia
Julius?
sanctions package that is supposed to help Ukraine in its fight against Russia. Now, what's interesting about this bill,
they weren't giving them any more money.
That Lindsey Graham, the late senator, had been championing for some time. Well, right before his death, he traveled to Ukraine, had some meetings with members of President Zelensky's cabinet, some other high-ranking officials there, and then announced that Friday that he had come to an agreement with the Trump administration, negotiating directly with the White House on a form of this Russian sanctions bill that President Trump, would sign into law if it was able to pass the Senate and the House. So after Senator Graham died later that weekend, a number of senators on a bipartisan basis came to an agreement to write the legislation and then bring it to the Senate floor. We'll see what happens on the House side, but it looks like this is on the right track to being passed and signed into law probably within I mean, we're not going to probably get it done this month because the House is in August recess, so they're not going to be getting back until early September.
Right, that's
But
Trump's
if the
bread and
Senate is
butter.
able to get this done over the next 2 weeks before their August recess gets kicked off, then the House can probably pass its version when they get back in September. So that's probably the timeline that we're looking at for this Lindsey Graham Memorial Act, which is a massive Russia sanctions package related to tariffs. The idea is to put a lot of pressure on the Russian economy, drain the Kremlin's resources, and pretty much force them to the negotiating table to try and get them to end their invasion of Ukraine. So we're
Good
looking at
luck.
the Senate floor right now. Looks like a relatively quiet Senate floor. That's because normally, and you see Senator Bernie Sanders walking out right now, voting on what, I don't have any information on what they're voting on, but we did get an update earlier from President Trump related to the nomination of Todd Blanche. That's because Senator John Cornyn and Senator Tom Tillis are protesting his nomination as of right now because they say they have not gotten enough answers to move forward related to the DOJ's weaponization fund. That's kind of the big roadblock between Senator Cornyn and his support for Todd Blanche. And keep in mind, both of these people are on the Senate Judiciary Committee, which is the committee Todd Blanche has to go through in order to get the nomination. Now, President Trump did respond to this pretty aggressively, I should probably point out, as soon as we get this graphic pulled up, saying Todd Blanche is a star and everyone knows it. He has the potential to go down as one of the greatest attorney generals of all time. However, John Cornyn of Texas and Tom Tillis of North Carolina, both of whom I refuse to endorse and whose political careers have been ended by my action, are refusing to vote for this great nominee, who will remain in any event.
So people in Japan are filling up like plastic bags with water to make sure people are able to get water right now.
President Biden and others too numerous to mention. I have no objection to temporarily withdrawing Todd's name if they do not do the right thing and putting him back on after Cornyn and Tillis are out of office. President Donald J. Trump. So clearly the most newsy statement right there from President Trump is that he's willing to pull Todd Blanche's nomination if this delay keeps happening. It seems, based off that statement, the way it would work is that he just keeps Todd Blanche as the acting attorney general and then ultimately makes him the full-time attorney general, renominates him when John Cornyn and Tom Tillis are out of office. That would happen not until January. But here's the kicker with that. We just had some new polling from Fox News come out yesterday showing the North Carolina Senate race, the race to replace Tom Tillis, the Republican. Well, Roy Cooper, the governor who's running for Senate, is leading by a pretty healthy margin over Michael Whatley, the former RNC chairman. So that could be a potential flip there, aka a Democrat would be in there leading to getting the votes for Todd Blanche even harder come January. And then there's the possibility that Texas flips as well. It's less likely than North Carolina, but it still is something that could happen, which is Texas and James Tallarico defeating Ken Paxton, flipping the state of Texas, which hasn't happened in a very long time. Democrats winning a major statewide race there, but certainly something to watch for as we get a little bit closer to.
And maybe a giraffe will come out of my ass.
100 days away, and we're going to have some extensive coverage here on Live Now from Fox when that ultimately happens. But still no update on when this press conference featuring Ben Crump is going to get underway. It looks like we're still waiting to see what's going to happen here. We were supposed to have a start time of roughly around noon. It looks like that still is, we haven't gotten any word if there's a 2-minute warning. There's some people who've been kind of ushering in, and you saw one of the pictures just fell right there. It looks like some family members are sitting front row, but we're expecting those rows to fill out when more people start to show up. So what we'll do, since we're likely to take this commercial free when it gets underway, let's go ahead and get our first commercial break-in, or sorry, our second commercial break-in of the hour, and we'll come back with more news in just 2 minutes. I'm Ryan Schmelz. You're watching Live Now from Fox. Stay with us.
So Japan right now, again, is trying to get whatever containers they could find to fill up clean water, deliver it to people. They think the water not only is contaminated, but it's not fully on or off. Some people tried to fill up bathtubs. so he could have extra water, but unfortunately, it was also contaminated. So that's no bueno. No good at all. I guess Reed Timmer was in a movie called Never Stop Chasing. Movie's called Never Stop Chasing, captures how it feels being Dominator 3 during the tornado interception mode. Oh, that's why he was starting to copyright people. Because they're using it for the movie, I think. Unfortunately, I don't think it's drinkable either.
Family of Nolan Wells, as well as the National Urban League and attorney Ben Crump, are now hosting a press conference in Nashville, Tennessee. Let's go ahead and take this live.
We must stand with these families.
Amen.
When families face the challenge of a non-responsive criminal justice system, we must stand with these families. With this giant of a lawyer and advocate over the last 15 years, going all the way back to Trayvon Martin, we have stood with Ben Crump and his clients and we have stood with Ben Crump and his clients because we want the community to know that we are not going to be silent in the face of injustice.
Amen.
You and I cannot even fathom the pain of these families. I want to thank them for their courage in being here in public under the glare of the media in these circumstances. But we want them to know they are with family. We're standing with family. So Ben Crump is going to bring us all up to date on the latest facts, events, and status of these three cases. And we are going to continue, as we said in the earlier session, to advocate until there is justice for these three families. And we will not be silent. We will not get tired.
Amen.
We will not get distracted.
Amen.
Until justice rolls down.
Amen.
In these three cases.
Amen.
So I'm proud to introduce a man who is known as the Attorney General for Black America. And I dare say he stands with the great lawyers that our community has produced. Thurgood Marshall, Constance Baker Motley, Johnny Cochran.
Oh, God. I'm out of here. I'm going to go pass out. I'll see you guys tonight at 6 o'clock show. I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to have an aneurysm. I got enough problems with my body. I don't need my brain to brain to explode next. If you guys want to donate, that'd be great. I have bills coming up on the 1st. I need to make an extra $150 right now. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, buy me a coffee. That would be absolutely spectacular. And make sure I can not be negative in my bills. Get stuff paid. Biggest one, I got to make sure I get the truck paid for. So the rest of you have a good rest of the day. I'll see you hopefully later tonight. And we'll do another show then. But beyond that, you have a good one, everybody. Take care. Love you all. I'll see you all later tonight. Take it easy.
you